Four young siblings have been killed in a shack fire in Hendrina in Mpumalanga. Police say the two set of twins, aged 8 and 13 years old, were left unattended for days. Let's cross live now to Heidi Giokos, who has made it to Hendrina. Heidi, just give us more details in terms of what police found there. What are you seeing there at that home?
You know, Maseko, this is such a devastating story. I can't explain it. We arrived about 10 minutes ago and the shack is completely burned down. What we do know, it was two sets of twins from the same mother, and we do know that there was also a 17-year-old who was basically looking after his siblings for the weekend because his mother had left, and he had then of course realized there was a fire, but when he tried to get out and ask for help, it was too late. But I think let's get more perspective and understanding as to what really happened. We are joined by Brigadier Salvi. Thank you so much for your time, Brigadier. It's really so sad what we are seeing, and perhaps just give us some insight as to what you understand what happened.
Yes, indeed, that's very sad. Our members were called earlier in the morning at around between 1 and 2 to that there was a fire, and then when they arrived here, indeed they found one shack on fire. It was already out of control, and then they called the fire extinguishers, and then they came in. They tried to extinguish the fire, but then after the whole thing has been done, unfortunately two sets of twins were already gone. They succumbed to the fire. We don't know now for now what caused the fire. We suspect various things, but then we are waiting our forensics to come and do the proper investigation and assist in terms of giving us exactly what might have caused the fire. Because if you look here, there's an old stove, coal stove that you see here on the rubble. There's a couple of cables, loose cables on the ground, which suggests that there might have been an illegal connection of electricity. So there are various things that might have caused this thing. And it's winter, so we don't know whether perhaps there was a heater inside or whether perhaps there was a candle, because they said that the electricity was off from 11 o'clock in the evening until 1 a.m. We don't know what might have caused the fire. But indeed, we'll wait for that particular report from our forensics to give us exactly what might have caused that particular fire. Unfortunately, we have lost 4 lives and from one family. And the mother and the 17-year-old boy, they were taken by ambulance this morning because they couldn't cope with the situation. It's a terrible, terrible situation.
I want us to just speak a little bit about the situation that you found when you got here. So we do understand that the mother apparently was not here for the whole weekend. She had been gone for about 3 days, leaving the kids in the care of the 17-year-old. I know you say you can't really get much out of the mother because she was in complete shock, but did she explain herself? Did she explain what happened? And are you also able to tell us the state of the 17-year-old? Was he affected at all by the fire?
Well, actually they tried to call the mother throughout the night. Her cell phone was off, and in the morning when she switched on her cell phone. That's when they managed to get hold of her, and she was first within the township here. She came here, and she did not know what was happening actually before that, because they couldn't find her over the phone. And the state of the boy is terrible. You can see that he has lost a little bit of some balance or sense, because he was literally trying to fight with the firefighters. You could see that he's in such a state whereby he cannot recognize who's who, because he couldn't even recognize the firefighters and trying to fight them. You could see that he's still trying to fight with something that a particular demon that you don't know what is it that he's fighting. He's definitely in a no good state. But fortunately enough, our social workers, they also came here, and I think they also went to the hospital to try and give as much counseling as possible. They would definitely need a serious counseling. It's a devastating situation. All of us here were devastated as well. Imagine losing 4 lives at this kind of a situation. It's so terrible indeed.
Very terrible. Thank you so much for your insights. We do appreciate it. That is Brigadier Salvi. I think if I can just ask my colleague JK to just show you what's left of this shack, Maseko. It's truly so heartbreaking. I mean, you can still smell the burn and the fire almost. But as you can see, it's beyond recognition. You cannot see much. And what we do know is that the part where you see completely burnt and damaged is where the 4 children were sleeping, the 2 sets of twins, and parts of the structure of the shack that's still almost remaining. We can't go too close because we do know that this scene has still been cornered off, so we don't want to go too close. But we know the shack that you're seeing that's still standing is where the 17-year-old was, and he, of course, was alerted to, I think there was screaming, and of course, obviously there was a fire, so he ran out. But luckily he wasn't hurt in the process. But as you heard from Brigadier Salvi, that of course he's very traumatized because he was trying to save the lives of his siblings.
Let's leave you to investigate this further, especially the angle that the parents or the elders or adults that they're supposed to be living with actually left them there for days on end. Let's leave Heidi Giokos to do more investigation. She's in Hendrina in Mpumalanga.